Hello, friends, and welcome. Namaste. I'm Crystal Joy Johnson of CJoyYoga, and we're going to look at shoulder stand. And I'm always pretty hesitant to teach it because, um, especially online, I'm not there with you. I can't see what your body is doing. I don't know what you're working with props. So I just want to put out there before we start that um, shoulder stand is not for everybody's necks, and especially not without props. When I teach it in studio, we don't do it without props, anybody. And I have a reverse cervical curve, right? And so I use even way more props than most people need or do use. So that is just to put out there that we are in a spot in the body with a pose that could cause harm. Of course, any movement can. So if you need to talk to your doctor first or whatever that is, right? Or just make sure you have the props, you move slow, you don't go beyond what is appropriate for your body, right? Um, yeah, so that said, the other thing I would put into that is shoulder stand. If we were doing shoulder stand, I would not even put it into a class until probably about 40 minutes into a class to make sure the body is prepped and ready. So if you have time, use this more as a tutorial, right? Do a back bending class or a core class before you do this video so that you already have the body kind of warm, primed, and ready, the component parts that you'll need. So with those two disclaimers out there, let's go ahead and look at a few poses before we move towards that shoulder stand tutorial. Start on your back. You want to have a bolster. Most of us don't have one at home, so two blankets folded in the bolster. I call it the bolster effect, right? You could have, and so at least two blankets. You might end up wanting more, and you'll probably want one block. Then, once you get all that gathered, lie down on your back. And on your back, just taking a few moments here in constructive rest or shavasana. Just tune into your body. Notice what you notice. Doesn't that sound profound? Do you have areas that are talking more than others? And that might be with, pain or tension, but it might just be that there's an area that has, really vibrant, tingling feeling or um, like pins and needles kind of a situation or whatever that might be. And then check into a few of those areas that don't have much going on and see if you can't still identify any sensation coming in through the nerves there. There's no right or wrong, friends. We're just trying to sink a little deeper into our bodies and experiencing what's happening. Tune into the breath. Notice your breath. Let's get a slow, steady, smooth quality so that as we work into these poses, some of them which require quite a bit of strength, right? We come at that not with adrenaline and cortisol, but from a place of calm. Let's put our feet on the ground with the knees bent, feet wide, knees out a little bit, arms teed out, windshield wiper. That was a very clumsy way to say windshield wiper twist. You can let the head stay pretty still in the very beginning part and just let those legs move, right? And as those legs move, feeling out the low back, the sacrum. You could even feel how it starts to move up. It even affects all the way up to the cranium. Maybe head turns the opposite way of the knees. If you want to play a little bit with that complete twist in the spine. And the next time your knees have gone to the left, you will be complete and come back to center. We'll meet there. Walk your feet into hip distance. Let's bring our right knee into the chest. You're going to go ahead and extend your left leg all the way out, flexing the foot, heel forward, thigh down, and gently pull that right knee in without the left hip lifting or the right hip dropping. Let's interlace behind the right thigh and push the right heel up to the sky. Push the thigh forward into the hands and get a long low back. I'm going to teach Barbie foot because we're going to try to go into that when we're in shoulder stand. That's much more difficult to find there if you haven't done it before you get there, right? So all I mean is if you've seen Barbie feet, right? They have this high heel on them, even when they're not in a high heel. So you're going to push through the ball mounds of the big toes and the toes in general, and especially the ball mound of the big toe because we forget that side often, right? So we'll come back to that leg when we move into our shoulder stand. Bring your arms down by your side, find your pelvic floor, your adductors, your low belly, your low back, right? So those main stabilizers we've been working with the past 4 weeks. And then you're going to lower your right leg any amount. Doesn't have to go low, right? And you're going to inhale up. And as a matter of fact, don't worry about how low the leg goes. Keep doing that. Every time you exhale, you lower. Every time you inhale, you bring it up. Rather, keep that left thigh down. Keep that left hip where it is. Don't let the right hip, the low back, the belly, any of those other pieces of your body move with the lift and the lower. And then the next time you come down, let the right leg come all the way to the earth. Bend the knee if you need extra support. Release the legs, arms out, palms up, pause, breathe. Notice sensations, and probably quite different than just moments ago when you scanned through your body. So we're just going to leave the right leg extended, flex the feet, push the heels forward, and then bring the left knee in to the chest. Grab wherever you want to on the leg initially. Left knee hugging towards that left side of the chest in line with the buttocks bone. Right thigh down, right heel forward, breathing. Interlacing behind left thigh, push the left heel up to the sky, push the thigh forward into the hands, long low back. And then we're going to go into Barbie foot. So again, push through the ball mounds of the toes so much that it's almost like you're wearing a high heel, right? And notice if you're pushing more through the pinky side, that is the tendency of most folks, right? So push through the ball mound of the big toe. You'll feel how that hugs the outer leg line in, right? Bring your arms down by your side. Find your deep four of the core, I've been calling it. And then you're going to exhale, lower that left leg. You'll inhale it up when you get to your inhale. Don't move too fast with this. Try to keep that smooth, slow breath going. It makes it a little more torturous. You have to work the muscle fibers longer, right? And also, it trains that breath and that smooth, slow quality. So we're in our, hopefully, right? We're in our parasympathetic system, our rest and digest. The next time you lower that left leg, bring it all the way down and rest for just a moment. Notice the body. Put your feet on the ground with the knees bent. Reach your right heel back up to the sky. Hug the left knee in, so slightly different leg formation, right? And you're going to go ahead and you're going to pull that left knee in, but actually pull your belly down so much that you tuck your chin into your chest and you'll pull your body up. And then take your hands off your knee for a second to ensure that the lift is coming from your abdominals. Grab the leg again, hug it in, right? And we're just going to switch legs. So bring the right leg in to bend, push the left heel up to the sky, and again, try to lift your shoulder blades off of the ground. Let the tailbone get really light, but don't do it from your arms, your hands pulling against the leg. Do it from your belly pushing down. Bring both knees in and release the upper body down. Release the lower body down. Breathe. So we need core when we're in it, but we really need core to get into it, right? The way we're going to go in today. There are a few different ways to work shoulder stand, of course, as with so many poses. So reach both heels up to the sky. And with your arms just by your side, palms down. Try not to push into your arms to do this next bit. Try to really let it be your abdominals. Push your belly button down so much that your heels lift a little higher to the sky. And by that, I mean it's a centimeter, right? Go ahead and release that. So I don't lift high, but try to not kick the heels towards the head side. Every time you exhale, push your heels up to the sky, right? By pulling your belly down. You can also say your tailbone gets a little light and it lifts every time you exhale, right? And do one more of those. And then start to lengthen the legs overhead. The knees can be a little bit bent and pull the belly and pull the belly down and pull the belly down and pull the belly down and pull the belly down. Now push into your hands just a little bit. We'll come back to this later. Go ahead and bend the knees in. You can grab or interlace or whatever and rock your legs back and forth. Just open up that low back a little bit. Maybe even do a circle or two one direction and then reverse and go the other direction. So hopefully our abdominals feel like they've been turned on, so to speak. No, don't grab the backs of the thighs. Put the feet down. Sorry, there's one other thing I want to do here on the ground. Bridges, because it's the basic shape that we have the upper body in, right? So go ahead and grab the edges of your mat. Push into the feet and lift the hips. Rock your shoulders underneath you. And then I want you to go ahead and gently pull your mat apart like a piece of paper. My regulars, you know this. We do this all the time. What it does is it fires up your upper back, and those upper back muscles start to turn on, right? So try to let the opening come between the shoulder blades rather than your ribs just shooting up, your low ribs shooting up to the sky. Take a breath and exhale. Now, if bridges are hard because of anything in your neck or anything like that, you definitely are not doing shoulder stand, hands down, right? It is not a safe place, and or go study with someone where they can see you doing it and work with you. There are ways you can work with it, but I would not suggest doing it without a teacher nearby, a wise teacher. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to push down into our feet and lift our hips. This time we're going to go for the interlace behind our back. If you can't do that, just go back to the hand on the mat grab, right? But with the interlace, rock your shoulders underneath you. You might get them a little further under. And again, I want you to notice the position of the neck. Do not look at me. Look up at the ceiling. Keep the neck neutral. Push down through your upper arms and your elbows like crazy and try to open not the lowest ribs, but the chest. Now, without your right hip dropping, you're going to go ahead and you're going to lift the right knee towards the chest, push the heel up to the sky, push through your Barbie foot, right, the ball bounds of the toes, bring the right foot down. You see how the shape is coming together? Bring the left knee in, don't let the hip drop, push up through the foot, and then go into Barbie foot, push through the ball mounds of the toes. Bring that left foot down and roll down. Pause. Breathe. If every time you go into these big poses, you feel like you have to go into flexion because your back is tender and sore, this might not be the pose for you, right? I'm going to say that a decent amount today, and I'm not trying to discourage people from ever doing shoulder stand. I just think it's a pose that you need a lot of wisdom, alignment, right, and awareness going into in order to make sure you keep your body safe, particularly your cervical spine, right? Grab the backs of the knees, rock yourself up. We did it. We got to our buttocks. Let's do a couple of cat cows, which I think will feel really good after that abdominal stuff. So move in and out of cat cow a few times, and then come on back to center. Okay, so we're going to actually start to move towards that shoulder stand setup. I just wanted to do a couple of things to warm you up because otherwise just going into this, without warming up component parts can be pretty rough on the body. So you're going to take a blanket. These Mexican blankets are amazing. They're a little bit of softness, but they're not too soft. They can get really firm edges. And you want a blanket fold something like this. This is the head side of my mat, and I want to be able to bring my shoulders and my head down on it, so I'm not all the way at the end of the mat, right? Okay. And then I'm going to take another one, at least two, and I'm going to make a stair step. It's back just a titch from where my last blanket was. Some people say lined up directly. I was always taught stair step them a little bit. I am going to do three because, again, I have a reverse cervical curve, and I'm not even going to demonstrate without this because why would I do that and possibly hurt myself? At home, I do five blankets. Take a block and put a block at the bottom of that setup, right? In an ideal world, you have your upper arms and your head is going to hang over. So just to kind of show you where we're going, right? You're not there yet. Don't come down, please. We're going to end up with our head supported, our shoulders supported on the blanket, and with our neck curved around that. My buttocks are on the block. So that's the basic setup. But there's one more piece to ensure that our elbows can stay in and we don't slip and slide on the blanket. We're going to fold the bottom part of our mat up over that so we have a sticky surface. Yeah? Okay. So once you have that in line, go ahead and start to lie down on that setup. Now, when you start to kick up, inevitably, you're going to end up pushing the body towards the head side of the mat, right? So I was always taught, and it works pretty damn good in my body, that you bring your thumbs towards your shoulders, and you want about a thumb's distance, right, between the edge of the block and your shoulders, the edge of the blanket, sorry. So you can kind of feel that out for yourself. And if when we get up, that needs to change, you can allow that, right? You're going to go ahead and just rock your shoulders under you just a little bit, just so you get a little bit of that chest lift we just had in bridge. And by the way, once you go in, I don't want you to turn your head. So if you need to pause and watch this, and we're going to do it again, and then do it on the second time, or rewind, watch it once and come back, please do. Don't turn your head when you're in this pose. My fingertips come down onto the ground beside me, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to use that core, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring my knees into my chest. Now I just want to point out, to start working with the shape, if you can't do the full pose, you could simply push the feet up and go into Barbie foot here, and you could work this modified shoulder stand, okay? If you want to try to kick up into it, bring the knees towards the chest. You remember that low belly muscle we worked so much? We're going to pull that down to kick our hips up, to try to kick our feet over, and then bring your hands immediately to your butt and let your hands help push you into what's called plow pose, right? I'm going to work my arms under me as deeply as I can here. I might even take a moment in plow pose. I usually don't hang out here, or I work this on a chair, right? So that I don't hurt my neck and have my neck too crunched in. I like skin. I'm going to walk my hands as close to my shoulder blades as I can possibly get them, right? Now, if you're in plow, you're going to start to reach your right foot up to the ceiling, find that Barbie foot. You could just do one leg and then the other. Maybe that left leg also reaches up and you do Barbie foot. If you were doing right leg up, bring the right leg over towards plow and push up through the left foot. So again, if you can't reach the ground without keeping a long spine and plow, put a chair or a coffee table underneath your feet. Otherwise, here we are. Keep those elbows pushing down. Keep the area between the shoulder blades, opening the chest. Don't turn the head. Push through the ball mounds of the big toes. Now, in an ideal world, we stay here for about 3 minutes to get the full benefits, but we're just doing a tutorial and just learning this. So go ahead and let your right foot come down towards plow, and then your left foot. To come out of this safely, you're going to bring your hands down and bring your fingertips to the ground if you can reach it, and you're going to slowly roll. So look towards your toes and keep looking overhead. That keeps the neck protected as you use a little core muscle, one of them, all of them hopefully, and you bring those feet down to the ground. Pause there for just a moment. Breathe. We're going to go ahead and we're going to scoot our body back off of this setup until our butt, so it's a lot of scooting, right? But hopefully you get off of that sticky mat and you can slide a little bit when you get there. My butt makes it to the ground, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do cross-legged Sukhasana legs. My legs are a little bit up, makes it more accessible for most knees. If that's not accessible, you could go to Baddha Konasana, but I'm going to suggest Sukhasana if you can manage it. Ease pose. Supta, I guess it would be Supta Sukhasana. Put your other shin in front. Soften. We are going to go into flexion, right? So put your feet on the ground and then hug your knees into your chest. You can use belly muscles or arms, whatever works for you. And you might just hold them in stillness or rock, whatever you need. You're going to roll over to one side, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extend my mat back out. I'm going to move the blankets, right? And we're going to go into a fish pose, which again, you can always stop and watch and look at. If you just watched that shoulder stand, again, stop, rewind, and go back and now do it now that you've seen it. If you want to do a restorative fish pose, you could use a bolster or two blankets making a bolster, right? Laying on that with your head over, just like somewhat like we just did, but letting that neck go into this really long extension through the front of the neck. If you'd like to do full fish pose, I'm going to teach it and do it. If you need to watch it first, do, and then go back, rewind, and do it. That's the beauty of technology, right? My feet on the ground, I lift my hips, I bring my hands under, and I push my palms down. I'm going to rock my shoulders under me just a little bit and extend my legs. Push through the ball mounds of the big toes like crazy. They don't touch the ground, but they reach for it, right? And again, once you get in, don't turn your head. Go ahead and push in your elbows so much you lift your upper body up, and then let the crown of the head reach back, 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 way back more than down until the crown of the head rests. Try to keep 90% of the weight in your arms, 10% in the crown of the head. And don't lock your jaw, but if you keep your teeth together, you'll get a stretch through the front of the neck potentially. Push into the elbows, lift the chin, tuck the chin to the chest, lay down. Release the arms out, palms up. And again, you can go to constructive rest or shavasana. And just to give you, that counter pose, why fish pose. With the blankets, our neck is not quite as compressed, but if you think about the position, I'll show it in my body in case you want to see it, right? We end up with a lot of compression in the front side of the neck and extension in the back side. So we are going the opposite way with fish pose, and we're shortening the back side of the neck and opening the front side. And breathe. Letting the body rest, but more than that, rest and integration is huge. I believe in that. I love it. But we also get this opportunity to scan through that body again and notice sensations, feelings, emotions, desire, instincts, everything, the holistic body, right? We determine whether or not that sequence in that pose, that peak pose, is something that's beneficial at this time, or is there something that I might need to change in order to allow it to be beneficial, or is it just not right for my practice? There are a myriad of physiological things when we're upside down. My favorite way to teach this is over the back of a chair. Maybe I'll do one of those soon because it's way more accessible to most bodies without having compression in the neck, right? And still getting the benefits. It's also said to be cooling. Salamba Sarvangasana, shoulder stand, said to be the queen of all poses. Wiggle fingers, toes, any of the things. Start to make your way to an upright posture. And if it felt like that went by quick, again, I normally, if I were to teach shoulder stand, I would not even bring it into a class until probably about 40 minutes into a class or so. And I would love it to be an hour and a half class or hour and 15 minutes. Doing it quickly without much opening and only doing it one time, not quite as beneficial as when we can do a full class. Hands together at the heart, but some of us only have 20 to 30 minutes a day, or maybe we just want to see it so we can bring it into our own practice. Namaste, friends.